Welcome to Crafty Polyglot, the monthly podcast where language meets creativity. Each month, we sit down with leading voices and innovators in language education, from renowned educators to pioneers shaping the future of multilingual learning. Together, we explore the art, the science, and the passion behind mastering languages, uncovering the strategies and stories that inspire learners and educators around the globe. Whether you're a teacher, a student, or simply a language enthusiast, Crafty Polyglot is your gateway to fresh insights, practical tips, and meaningful conversations that celebrate the vibrant world of languages. Join us on this journey, because in every language, there's a new world to discover.
Hello, I'm Dr. Felicia EYBL, board member of Horse Education Group and host of the Crafty Polyglot podcast series. I'm excited to have as our guest today, Jim and Deb Wesley, who were in that early group of Charlotte parents who chose to take a chance on a language immersion program for their children. I taught their sons in fifth grade many years ago at Bruns Avenue. They continue to be invested in language immersion as their granddaughter is currently a student at South Academy of International Languages. Welcome to the Crafty Polyglot, Jim, and we will see his wife, Deb, in just a few minutes. So, you might be considered some of the pioneers in the German immersion program created in CMS. What motivated you to enroll your children in one of the first language magnet programs, as you have a daughter and two sons and now a granddaughter in the immersion program?
Yeah, our daughter, Diana, was the first one. Just remember, I think all parents understand the importance of a second language. But it didn't really hit us until we started thinking about how we can prepare them good for life. And one of the big things that came up was the importance of having a second language, the fact that CMS had just come up with the magnet school. And I will say for me, it had a little bit of trepidation because it's something so new to go into.
Mm-hmm.
But being able to bring that skill and prepare them for life with a second language really hit home once we had found out from people that the German immersion school was up and starting.
And it didn't bother you that it was all the way across town?
But yeah, I would have much rather it was closer. But
Mm-hmm.
it's one of those things that we understood going in. And I will say after just a few days or weeks of doing it, it just became routine. And
Mm-hmm.
you learn to do things on the
Mm-hmm.
drive and stuff like that. So it wasn't as big a thing where it did in the beginning.
Did you have any specific goals or expectations for the program or why you chose German?
I think we probably did. We probably hoped that they would have a good working language of German, which was a pleasant surprise that they became so fluent in it. All of them did. They really did well. So probably the things that just not knowing going in would be the sort of hesitancy, but easily got over that real quick. It was such a nice environment. They were so challenged. And after just a few weeks, they fit in so well. Very nice.
So can you share specific examples that illustrate how immersion education has influenced your children's cultural awareness and their global perspective?
Well, the ability to see their worldview expand beyond just their town, to be able to understand that, there's different cultures, different countries all over the world. And I know that they can now not look at that in any fear. The specific example I would give is our daughter in high school. She got interested in learning the Japanese language to the point that she became a foreign exchange student and stayed a year in Japan as a high school junior.
That is exciting.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was very neat.
And so it also along that line, tell us about maybe your students' experience on exchange programs.
Yeah, so we had several exchange programs that we did, and all of them did very well. And it was so nice that they could go over there and be with a family that they knew. They didn't just send them over and say, okay, you're all being spread out to people you don't know. These were kids that had stayed with us, then we stayed with them. It was such a nice experience. We really got it. And to the point that with exchanging with their parents, we've got lifelong friends that we exchange Christmas cards and newsletters and all that.
What is one piece of advice that you would give to parents considering a language immersion program?
Don't be fearful of it. The one thing that I probably that came into my mind was, I don't know the language. How do I help them with their homework if they need it? And the teachers and everything, there's resources there that if that's part of what your problem is, they can help you out. But that was not an issue. Just probably just knowing that they're going to something so different that I've not ever been through.
Mhm.
And that's probably part of being a parent and wanting to protect them like that. But they did so well. They just flourished. Really did.
One of the things that I remember is that you volunteered in our classroom quite a bit.
I do remember that.
Yes, you
And
volunteered.
I still think of that time talking about the difference between heat and energy.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that the other day.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because
Well,
I have a background in
mhm, mhm.
engineering, so
Right.
went in and talked about fire and temperature and all that stuff, and
Yes.
I
Yeah,
g I think they paid attention a little.
I think they did. I think it was interesting to them.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Jim,
Well,
for
thank
coming
you.
to participate today. And we appreciate your input in this. And now we'll have a word with your wife.
Well, thanks so much.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Deb, thank you for joining us this morning. We have interviewed Jim, so now we'd like to get your perspectives on this a little bit. So, did you share similar goals and expectations when your children were enrolled in German immersion, or did you have some different ones or some of the same ones?
No, they were very similar. I wanted them to have a curiosity about the world in general. I always wanted to travel, and I didn't mind if they chose a career in another country or even in the US. I felt it would help them career-wise, and
Mhm.
also if they chose a life elsewhere, we could visit them there.
Yes, exactly. So, can you tell us or share some specific examples of how being engaged with immersion education influenced your child's empathy toward others and their global perspectives?
I don't think they were. I remember Andrew was very happy to go. He's the middle child. Brad did just great on their travel, but Andrew was a little hesitant. He was a little homesick, but by the time he got back, and I think they took him to a hot car museum, and that really changed his perspective. But they all did really well. They all still speak. They actually, Diane and Andrew, have taken their spouses to
Mm.
Germany. And I remember an example of Diana was asking directions from a German man. And he said to her, "Well, how did you meet your American husband?" And she said, "Well, I'm American." And he laughed. He didn't believe her because her German was so on point.
Good, good, good. Always glad to hear that. So, how would you describe the benefits of immersion education to other families who might be considering the program, or what advice would you give to parents?
First thing I would say is start early, kindergarten by first grade, because I think Diana started a little late. She was starting third grade.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I don't think they do that now, but
No, they
that's
don't.
when I found this. I had heard about it, went to visit the school, was just impressed with the teachers. They tested her. I remember it was Frau Ines Olhausen who said, "Let me talk to her." And when she came back, she said she's got a natural curiosity. Her
Mhm.
language skills are high. So we're going to accept her. We'll work with her.
Mhm.
So yes, Diane and Andrew started immediately. Andrew was in the first grade
Mhm.
then. He had
Mhm.
just started first grade. So he was okay. And Brad started from kindergarten.
So, what would you say to parents about the importance of a second language, importance of learning a second language?
I think it's really also the culture. They
Mhm.
learn other cultures that they wouldn't necessarily learn, um, another way. It also, like my husband said, takes away the fear of the world. I would have enjoyed if they had taken a career and life in another part of the world, not necessarily Germany. We chose German because that's the school I toured, and we're both of German nationality.
Mhm.
We're both half Germans,
Mhm.
but yeah.
So, is there anything else you'd like to share with us about your children's adventure through a German language immersion program?
I was a little worried about hosting other students, but we thoroughly enjoyed it. And at one time we had Michelle and Marco, who were actually Czechoslovakian, but Michelle was in a German immersion program. And
Mm.
well, he was a German student, but he was on crutches. And we kept both of them for whatever the exchange program was.
Mhm.
And even though Marco and Michelle really didn't know English well, our children helped, but we could communicate. I mean, I remember there's a lot of map pointing and things like that, but we were able to communicate. But we enjoyed all the students. And Ueda, we hosted a Japanese teacher for a year, and she helped Diana before she went to Japan with her language, her Japanese, because in middle school she picked up Japanese. But that's really about it. I'll tell you what, there was more trepidation on my part. I didn't sleep nights before I put the children into German immersion, thinking not only do they have to learn it, they have to learn it in another language. And I don't know that language. And I didn't sleep first few nights, but after a couple weeks, I remember they just came out the door and they were just fine. They were
great.
happy, and they did their homework on that long drive home. So by the time we got home, their homework was done.
Well, that was good.
Yeah.
That was good. That was good.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you very much for joining us today.